Good morning. Can everybody hear me? All right, good morning. Welcome to your new library. All right, so we have some remarks we want to give this morning. I promise you, though, we're going to keep this as short as possible. We have a lot of folks in here, and I also recognize, and our speakers do too, that we're the only thing standing between you and your new library, and this is a dangerous spot, so we're going to be brief. But I want to welcome all of you to what is truly a historic moment in the history of the town of Irondequoit. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge and thank the hardworking, dedicated public servants, without their unwavering support, today would not be possible. First, I want to start with the Irondequoit Town Board, our current and previous board members. First and foremost, former Supervisor Mary Joyce DeRizio. We all owe Mary Joyce a debt of gratitude for grabbing a hold of this vision and a couple years ago and making this a true priority for our town. So thank you, Mary Joyce, for being here. I also want to recognize our Deputy Supervisor, Town Board Member John Perticone. This is the house that John built, after all. We're also joined today by Dave Seeley, Lori Barnum, Nicole Hushler-Ray. They're all here today from our town board. And our former board members who supported this project and dedicated a lot of time to it, Irina Skrobach, Deborah Esley, and Paul Marasco. So big round of applause for our board. I also want to thank the members of our library board who are here. Stephanie Squiccerini, there's Stephanie right there, our president. I also want to acknowledge, I'm going to talk about Stephanie in a minute, but I also want to acknowledge Mary Ellen Jones, Bud Burchard, Joe Janier, Jack Harriman, Fran Mannion, Mark McBride, David Heffer, Woldemir Plashenko, Carol Mamano, Elaine Cole, and Miriam Gans. Big round of applause for everybody. I also want to acknowledge some of my partners in government who joined us here today. Congresswoman Louise Slaughter is joining us today. Thank you, Congresswoman. We also have the Majority Leader of the New York State Assembly, our own Joe Morelli. State Senator Rich Funke's here today. Thank you, Rich. Our County Executive, Maggie Brooks. County Clerk Cheryl D'Onofrio. Our county legislators, Joe Morelli Jr., Joe Carbone, and Carrie Andrews. I also saw Superintendent Jeff Crane is here from the West Irondequoit School District. And we're also joined by former town supervisor Sue Masters. Where's Sue? I just saw her out there. So welcome, Sue. There you go. Okay, Irondequoit, we really are a better place because of all these individuals and their service, and I want to thank you all for being here today. I'm also going to thank the foundation, our donors, friends of the library, our construction teams. We're going to say a few words about them later with a few of our speakers. And of course, I have to thank the Irondequoit taxpayers, who overwhelmingly voted in support of our new library. And they spoke loud and clear that this is what you want from your town government. And you didn't just vote. You attended literally dozens of forums to tell us what you want to see in this building. And this was a community-driven project straight from the beginning. From the vote to the design to the functionality, this is truly your library. And today would also not be possible if it weren't for the hard work of the men and women here at Town Hall. From Nick Weatherby, where's Nick? I said this is the house that John built. This is the house that John and Nick built. Where's Nick Weatherby? Raise your hand. He's not even in the room. Terry Buford, Rick Checky, Pat Meredith, Bob Kiley, Rashad Atkins, Jeff Hands, Nate Stone, Terry Thomas, Becky Merrill, Laura Smith, Annie Seeley, and of course, our library staff. A year and a half ago, I told you that our new consolidated library would be on time, on budget, and the best state-of-the-art library on our region. And because of the individuals that I just recognized and the work of our construction, design, and engineering teams, we did just that. We are on time, we're under budget, and we've blown away the competition. So congratulations. So I think John's going to talk more about our construction team in a few moments, but I just want to let you know that our team here really operated like a family. Nick, John, Chris, Peter, Mike, Fina, Kevin, through all those weekly tedious meetings, I think they were well worth it. I know you're all probably glad that they're over, but you're also going to miss it. So they were really just really a part of our staff, and I keep trying to think of another project we can do so we can keep everybody here. So it's good. But as our motto, A Town for a Lifetime, suggests, Irondequoit truly is an extraordinary place to call home. We're a community of vibrant, welcoming neighborhoods, home to the highest quality schools in our county, a land of amazing natural beauty and waterways, and the place where generations of friends and family live out their lives together. And I couldn't think of a better symbol to capture that sentiment than our new central state-of-the-art library. It's a place where our children, families, and generations come together in a community space to connect and learn from one another and explore new horizons. Within minutes of opening the doors just a couple days ago, the tutor rooms were filling up with students learning, sharing, and doing homework. I saw Girl Scout leaders plotting out activities for their troops and families with multiple generations playing board games with one another. And I can't tell you how inspiring it was when I brought my own children to the library for the first time and saw the amazement and wonder in their eyes. There are so many books, we almost couldn't get out of there. It was way past bedtime, guys. But in the atrium, one of our older residents literally shed a tear when she walked through the front door. And I think that's because today we proved we are capable of big things, that we too deserve first-class facilities and services, and that Irondequoit's best days are truly ahead. So we have a few people who I've asked to share some thoughts today, and also recognize and thank the many donors and construction teams that made today possible. Our first speaker that I'm going to welcome up is no stranger to the town of Irondequoit, our community, and really our country, and that's our Congresswoman, Louise Slaughter.
I don't care if it's raining. It's a beautiful day. I am so proud of you, Irondequoit. You have done an extraordinary job here. I love it when people understand how much the library means to them. You know, it really is the meeting place for this whole community. Marriages, I think, sometimes happen from people you meet in the library. Children grow up knowing each other, what they get at the reading programs of somebody sharing books with them. And the wonderful touches that you put in this library to heat the floor in the children's room so they can sit there and feel good and warm while somebody reads them great stories. Access to all the great books around them. But not just that. The people in this town who are thinking about starting a business, entrepreneurs, men and women who can come here and through the computer services that you're going to be able to provide, study and get all the resources they need to help them to not only to begin what they want to do, but to succeed at it. One of the best statements that I know about libraries, I made a speech 100 years ago. Many of you may not know that the Richmond Library in Batavia was named for the son of the first president of the railroad, and he commuted to New York from New York Central once a week. His son died, and his mother thought the best thing that she could do would be make a library in his honor, and we were talking about that and saying how remarkable that was. And the greatest statement that I know about a library, it is pretty deep, but I think it's certainly something we ought to know, that this library and all the libraries in this country are the vaults in which we keep our civilization. That's pretty humbling, isn't it? But bless your heart, Irondequoit, you not only voted once, you voted twice. And Adam tells me that the second vote was in the middle of a blizzard, the schools were closed, and nobody was expected to go out to anywhere, maybe to the grocery store if they had to. But you came out in droves and voted the second time because you know the importance of it. So there's nothing I can say here to say, because you knew it all along, how incredibly important it is. But I do want to say that I've never seen a building that fits in as beautifully as this. When I first saw it, it goes with Town Hall like a hand in a glove. It looks almost like it's been here forever, but I know that everything in here is state-of-the-art and up to date. And I want to thank the architects and the builders and the contractors who did such an extraordinary job. And again, Adam put it so beautifully, none of this ever happens without the efforts of everybody who lives here. So for all of you who came to all the meetings, to those of you who served on the town boards and former supervisors, all of you, take great pride in what you've done today. What stands here today will be here for generations to come. And it will be the state of art, and it will be the focus for this community, and it will be because you cared and because you worked so hard to do it. I am so proud to represent Irondequoit, New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. The next person I'd like to invite up is, again, no stranger to anybody here in town. He helped to secure literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in state grants to help this library get completed. He's my friend and mentor, someone without whom very little good things happen in this town. So the Majority Leader of the New York State Assembly, Joe Morelli.
Good morning. As we cut the ribbon on our new public library this morning, what a beautiful, magnificent building this is, I want to offer my thanks as well to the expired leadership of Town Supervisor Adam Bello and the members of the town board and John Perticone. I don't know what you're going to do anymore with your time, but we're delighted with all the hard work of all the people who dedicated themselves to this, the advocates, residents, people on the board that have been mentioned. I just want to offer my thanks as well for the amazing job that you did and continue to do. In the mid-15th century, a German goldsmith by the name of Johannes Gutenberg revolutionized the world with what is widely recognized as one of the greatest inventions in the history of humankind. His invention, the printing press, opened the world of literature and knowledge to the masses. No longer would the great works of philosophy, religion, science be exclusively the domain of kings and princes and emperors, but to farmers, fishermen, and artisans as well. Gutenberg's press brought unprecedented change to our world, not only by making available the great works of information, but by bringing communities together to discuss the world of ideas open to them for the very first time. It led to profound changes in science, in religion, in commerce, and yes, in politics. It ushered in the Industrial Revolution, the Reformation, and the revolution ultimately through political upheaval that brought us the incredible, miraculous republic that we enjoy today. Now, why is that important nearly 700 years later, today, after Gutenberg's invention? Because the quest for knowledge and the very human need for community has never been more relevant than it is today. We dedicate this beautiful new building, and it is beautiful, it is magnificent. I told Adam I wouldn't come to it until we did the ribbon cutting because I wanted to see it when it was all done, and it is truly beautiful. But in recognizing the beauty of the building, we should also remember what's truly important and what the accomplishment that this day is, that we have together truly created a very special place where each of us can fulfill the very human need to find meaning in our world and to find it as community, to find it together. So when I bring my grandchildren here, Arabella and Jonas, in the months and the years ahead, I'll think of this day and the incredible gift that this library is to our town. I have to say I've never been more proud to be a citizen of Irondequoit than I am today. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Gutenberg would be pretty proud of us as well. So thank you all for the opportunity to speak. God bless you.
Thank you, Joe. The next individual I'd like to call forward, again, this library wouldn't be possible without his help and support in securing funding from New York State to make sure that we're protecting our local taxpayers and able to build this building the way we did. He's a good friend who's always there when I call and happy to come and help out in the town of Irondequoit. It's our state senator, Rich Funke.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a great day to be inside reading a book. I want to thank Supervisor Bello for his commitment, certainly, to seeing this project through, and I certainly want to recognize Mary Joyce DeRizio as well, who got it off the ground, and without whom we probably wouldn't be here celebrating today. And to the friends of the Irondequoit Library and the Irondequoit Library Foundation for the work that they put into making all of this possible. You should all be very proud. I love Irondequoit. I raised my family here. My kids went to school here. And I spent a majority of my adult life here. Our town is unique. From the lake to the bay, from Durand Eastman to our great schools, and this new library is a significant investment. And the town of Irondequoit's already high quality of life. And when we talk about quality of life, I think that's really what this project is about in so many ways. Libraries really are pivotal contributors to quality of life in communities that they serve. So often, libraries are true civic centers, providing a safe place for kids after school, giving children some of their first chances to learn the love of reading, and even hosting community meetings. And that's exactly what this beautiful new facility is going to do for our town here in Irondequoit. I was proud at the end of the session to deliver $65,000 in bullet aid for libraries in our district, and proud to join Majority Leader Morelli to announce nearly $400,000 in grant funding to help support the cost of the first phase of construction of this library, which included the foundation and structural steelwork plus exterior framing. And today I'm proud to announce that I've secured $50,000 in capital funds to help the town make the new library the best that it can be for kids, for families. And I want to make the point that Joe Morelli has also secured a similar $50,000. It's going to make it the best it can be for kids, for families, for residents who will use this facility, and for the taxpayers who have supported this project along the way. An investment like this, I think, is really about quality of life. When you ask employers why they pick Rochester to come and work, and Vinny Esposito knows this better than anybody, you so often hear it's about our quality of life. A high quality of life makes it easier for businesses to attract employees, to keep people here. It makes it easier for us to attract new jobs and new commitments to our great area. So I want to thank everybody for dedicating themselves to the quality of life here in Irondequoit, for all who have been involved in this project, for making that huge commitment. It's just a very proud day. Thanks very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Senator. For our next speaker who's going to come up here today, is a former Irondequoit resident who's represented our community here in Irondequoit in a number of different capacities, from county legislature to county clerk, and now county executive, someone I've worked with and gotten to know over the last couple of years very well, and I know cares deeply about our town. That's our county executive, Maggie Brooks.
And you know what they say, Mr. Supervisor, once an Irondequoit resident, always an Irondequoit resident. They don't let you go. They bring you back in. I have attended a lot of library openings during my 12 years as county executive. And today when I walked through the door, I realized that I have met the new gold standard. Irondequoit has raised the bar, certainly. It has a very Pottery Barn-esque feel. That's a feminine perspective. But it is absolutely an amazing space. Congratulations to the supervisor, everyone on the team. Mary Joyce, I remember my first conversation with Mary Joyce when she mentioned the library. She had tears in her eyes. And I saw that passion, and I knew this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And sure enough, here we are. As has been mentioned, Libraries define neighborhoods and they define communities, and libraries are a reason that families and individuals want to live, work, and raise their children in our community. One thing, we focus on the individual libraries, but one thing I think we ought to think about today is that we are truly blessed in Monroe County to have a very robust library system, a lot of interconnected libraries that share a backbone and share a commitment to our community. And I don't know if Patty Otero is here today, but she does an amazing job. And it really is a collaborative effort. I think we probably have one of the most collaborative library systems in New York State. And that doesn't happen by accident. It really doesn't. And we are fortunate, and it's a blessing for all of us. I grew up here, and having raised my daughters here, I've logged a lot of hours in the Irondequoit libraries. And it's just a joy for me to know that future generations will have that same opportunity. As has already been mentioned today, libraries are community centers, they are education centers, they are centers of history and culture, they are the backdrop for learning and all kinds of things. And we live in a very high-tech world, and you would think that libraries would be shrinking, not growing and expanding, and that technology would be taking the place of that good old-fashioned reading of a book. But while technology may be the future for all of us, there is no question that literacy will always be the foundation for success. And so that's why we have to preserve and grow and celebrate our library space throughout our community. So congratulations. This truly is an amazing asset, adds to our quality of life, certainly, but it doesn't happen overnight, and I know there's a lot of people that deserve credit today. I have a small token, Mr. Supervisor, that I will give to it's not $50,000. I'm sorry. I'm working on that, and I have 3 months to get it for you. But this is a flag, and it is produced by a local company, Superior Technology. And someone mentioned when Congresswoman Slaughter was talking that this is also a vault of freedom. So there you go. Display this proudly. Think of the county, and it comes with our great wishes and best luck for many successful years in this building.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Maggie. That was very generous of you. The next speaker we're going to call up, I said earlier, this is really the house that John built. John Perdicone is a member of our town board. He's our deputy supervisor. He's also, most people when they think of it, what a town board member does and is, they think of it as a part-time job, but nobody told John that. He has spent, I don't know if he really signed up for this when he first got elected, but he has spent so much time at Town Hall. He's a fixture there. He has been here every step of the way, making sure that we do this the right way and that we're on time and we have nothing but the best construction, design, and engineering teams working for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, John Perdicone.
First of all, when they put the program together, they didn't tell me I was following such polished politicians and speakers. So if you're expecting that from me, you may be disappointed. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone today for coming to the ribbon cutting ceremony. There's a lot of thank yous to go around, but I'm going to concentrate on the men and women that kind of worked on the construction of this project and the building of our library, make it a reality for all of us to enjoy for many years to come. And I am one of the many people that are very proud of this accomplishment. I stood before you in April of 2014 at the groundbreaking ceremony and said that this project had a very aggressive schedule, and this team of professionals would not sacrifice quality whatsoever. I think you could just look around when you walk through the library. You'll definitely know what I mean. And boy, did they all deliver that promise. Day in and day out throughout the entire project, no quality was compromised whatsoever. From my experience in the industry, the customer isn't always as involved in a project quite as much as this one. When we started having meetings early in the project, the constructions team started coming together and they would say, "John, don't you have anything else to do?" "No, I don't. I'm going to be here right to the end." So after they asked me that 2 or 3 times, they figured, I guess John's going to be here most of the time. So I really want to start, and I also want to thank that construction team. I want to thank all of them for welcoming me into their into the meetings, into the whole process of building this library. I want to start off by giving a great big thank you to all our design team members. Each of these professionals produces at a high quality of their professions. I would like to start off by thanking Gary and Mark Passero from Passero Associates. Your attention to this job, you both put a lot of time and effort into this job, and it shows. To Bartram and LaCroix Architects, Dick LaCroix and Mike Trapanowski, thank you for your continued ideas and input that were implemented throughout this project. I know that Dick LaCroix has seen this project talked about for many years, so I think if finally see the library built, he had something to do with it, and I'm certainly sure it's extremely gratifying to him. And also, you know, if anybody saw, the first rendering we had was made out of wood, and Dick LaCroix had done that for us, and that shows his talent right there. So I want to thank that team as well. And I want to thank to the LaBella Associates, Sergio Esteban and Mike Shaffron. They were involved in the site and civil design. And as you look around the outside, they did a very professional job with the grounds and also the lighting. Jensen Engineering for structural design, Don Jensen. To EC4B Mechanical Engineering, Eric and Bruce Healy. And Razak for the landscape design. And Vargas Associates, Christine Vargas and Fina Santiago providing interior design for the library. Pottery Barn, I assume, is pretty... We hadn't heard that in the meeting, but I guess we'll go with that. That's good. They were also overseeing moving and consolidating the two libraries. I mean, and I'm certainly sure when you start going inside, you'll look throughout the library, the colors, fixtures, and furniture, etc. And I remember the first time I was standing outside and the first truckload of furniture came in, I was standing next to Fina. She had a big smile on her face. You know, all that hard work was finally coming, and she was going to finally start to put the furniture around the building. So watching that, it's a great accomplishment for all that were involved. And last but not least, I would like to thank the lead architect for passing around the project, Peter Wayner. Pete put all he had into this project and more, and it shows. He pays a lot of attention to detail. He is very dedicated to the project throughout, had his hands in all aspects of the job. I cannot begin to tell you how very lucky we all are to have such a talented individual lead this job from beginning to end. When the library opened on Wednesday, of course, Pete was around, and someone asked him how he feels finally get the project finished. And I know Pete was so involved in all the aspects of the project, it may have not really hit him yet that, you know, he's been here, that the project is finally done. So Pete, you can finally sit back and have a big sigh of relief and enjoy one of the great accomplishments in your personal and professional career, and also that our town has experienced. And I want to put a thank you out also to a great big thank you to Justin, a very good young architect who helped Peter throughout the job. I always said that Justin has the talent of an architect twice his age. And again, to Krista Construction and Management Team, to Dave Krista, John Radici, Chris Ladas, and Joe Agnello, and especially to my dear friend John Radici. He told me when this job began, when a job starts good, it continues good, and it finishes good, and that held true throughout this job. John kept the job on pace. He had everyone working together, coordinating with each other, not a small task at all. This was a very well-managed job from beginning to end. One thing I learned from John, if anybody was in the construction trailer, my wife Michelle used to bring fresh baked goods in occasionally. So if someone came in the trailer with some kind of issue, he'd give them some of that fresh baked goods, and before you know it, they forgot what they were in the trailer for. So that's experience. That is a lot of experience. That they came in, leaving, scratching their head, have a cookie, you'll be fine. But people don't realize how valuable someone like John is to the project. People respect him as he manages a great job. If you ask any person working on this project, this was probably one of the best projects they've been on in a long time. And that says a lot. If you're out in the field working, that says a great deal. So that is a compliment to everybody, but John's management has a lot to do with it. Chris Ladas, our money and budget person, making sure our day-to-day, the budgets are always considered and followed, and we do not overspend. And people, that is an important aspect of the job, because as you go along, you want to make sure you're on budget and everything's fine. You want to overspend. Because we're like, yeah, Chris is like, nah, not good enough. So I want to thank Chris for that process throughout the job. Joe Agnello doing all the budgets and for all the aspects of the job. And I also want to just give a quick plug also to John Radici, Mike Shaffron, Concord Electric, Manning and Squires for the new Veterans Memorial outside. We were there. We had our 9/11 ceremony yesterday, and they did a great job there. A lot of compliments on that. So on top of building the library, that group also had that responsibility as well. You know, I mentioned before, too, the town was extremely involved. You know, Adam mentioned a bunch of names, but I just want to do a quick list, and you'll heard their names before, but obviously Supervisor Adam Bello, my colleagues on the town board, Lori Barnum, Nicole Hushler-Ray, Dave Seeley, Nick Weatherby, Sarah Culp, Becky Merrill, our DPW department, Commissioner Pat Meredith, and Bob Kiley. Their staff did a lot of tasks throughout the job on the site, and thank you very much. To Jeff Hands, Nate Stone, Rashad Akins, Terry Thomas, who worked with Kevin Labar, did a great job on the IT and the audio for the library, and Kevin Labar really did a really nice job. And I want to talk a little bit about Annie Seeley and Rick Checky from our comptroller's office. They were through the budget process with us as well, and they kept us in line with spending as well, on going through the budgets. So I want to thank them as well. They were watching the taxpayers' pennies throughout this whole project. And Terry Buford, Stephanie Squicciarini, Joe Janier, thank you for your commitment to this project. They were in and out of meetings. And I want to thank Greg Merrick and John Nitty for all the inspections that were needed for the project. And a quick thank you to some of our contractors, Manning Squire, Henning, General Contractors, Gary Squire's team, Jared and Walt, who really put a good job together. They ran a really nice job, and that makes it easier for everybody. Concord Electric, Scott Taylor and Foreman Greg, Mechanical Contractors, Poster and Jekyll, Dave Ladisi and Foreman Mike Smock, Landry Mechanical, John Simmons and Foreman Troy Letta. And I want to thank all the contractors and construction workers on this job that provided us with a high level of craftsmanship and dedication to this project. Some of our team are town residents, Fina Santiago, Pete Wayner. He's also our planning board chairman, Mike Smock and Troy Letta. And throughout various trades had town residents work on the job in and out. So, you know, when you're a town resident and you work on a project like this, it's very proud, and you feel a lot of sense of satisfaction when you see a project like this. And I could tell you that from that experience. And you know, the sense of the project. Everybody in town, I think, that drove by, they watched this come right out of the ground, from the site work, foundations, all the way up to the steel. When you're dedicated, you know, when you're dedicated and you love what you are doing, that's the result of our professionals that we're all dedicated. So this is really bittersweet to me, the end of a job. For my friends at Krista, John, and Chris, I know where your next job is, and I'm pretty sure I still have the key to your trailer. So don't be surprised one morning you pop open the lights. I'm sitting there with some fresh baked goods for my wife, Michelle. And on behalf of myself, the town, and the residents and future generations, thank you all for giving us a library that we can enjoy for many years. Thank you.
Thanks, John. And that whole list of people you just thanked, they're going to be grateful when this is done, because they'll stop getting all my calls and texts all day, worried about everything. So we're almost there. The next speaker that I want to bring up, though, is, again, somebody. This would not happen today if it weren't for her. Stephanie Squicciarini and I first met just a couple of years ago, and she has really helped to usher this project through. When you build a building like this, and we have a library board of trustees, the Friends of the Library Foundation, the Irondequoit Town Board, the residents of this town, all the forums, there's a lot of people to corral, a lot of opinions, and a lot of information coming at once, and somebody has to be responsible for organizing that and making sure we are providing the best thing and meeting everybody's needs. And that person who is responsible for that, and it did such a fantastic job, who wants to thank a few people here, is Stephanie Squicciarini.
Thank you, Adam. And as I told Joe, I cut my remarks down from 12 pages to 6, so we won't be here too long. So thank you all for coming out this morning to celebrate our new library. As with this day of our groundbreaking just under 18 months ago, a little rain cannot dampen the spirit of this day or of this town. Though I have to admit, there were times during this process that I was not sure this day would come. When we started this process, the library board held true to a commitment that we have stuck to, that this would be the library the community builds together, and we did it. We made it to this day together. I looked through my comments from the groundbreaking celebration, and so much still bears repeating. The process to get us actually here started many years ago with several library boards trying to change the direction and path our library services were taking, wanting to be able to offer more to our community. Each of those attempts brought us to this day, while also bringing renewed commitment to making our town's library services more efficient and robust. We would not be here today without the work of the past library boards and the efforts they made during the 15-plus years, and they deserve our thanks today. Those boards include Sophie Ferenc, Miriam Gans, Peter Kelderhouse Sr., Sue McGee, who's now actually a clerk here, Mirko Pilashenko, Irina Skrobak, and Lynn Ann Weiner. The current board will continue these efforts beyond today with the common thread running through all of us and each decision we make being the passion for and commitment to our library as we get ready to launch a new long-range planning process which will further allow residents to provide feedback on, and guidance on the future of their library. Today, we are able to say our library offers more space with multiple meeting and study rooms, a dedicated teen library, a welcoming and bright children's library, state-of-the-art technology, including a makerspace outfitted with sewing machines, tools, a top-of-the-line computer with video and music editing software, and soon a 3D printer. And just today, the staff worked really hard to get our fleet of iPads ready so you can borrow them within the library. We have more computers, more seating areas, a local history gallery, and more space for residents to gather and connect. And we also have a dedicated quiet room and new Sunday hours starting tomorrow, 1 to 4. Today, we owe a deep gratitude to the Friends of the Irondequoit Library who have worked tirelessly on the library's behalf, and to the Irondequoit Public Library Foundation who mounted a very successful capital fundraising campaign that will continue beyond this grand opening celebration. I hope you will take some time today to look at the different dedications to our generous neighbors, organizations, and businesses who have contributed to the campaign. There are some additional donor dedications to come, and while they are not yet noted in our library, I want to thank them now. They include the Ukrainian Federal Credit Union and Foundation, the Musis family, Buddy and Mary K. Rodenhausen family, Peter and Ann Kelderhouse, the family of Joseph Perna, and our very soon-to-be dedicated atrium, first floor reading lounge, and Irene's Courtyard in honor of the most generous contribution from the Joseph and Irene Scalny Charitable Trust. Joseph and Irene Scalny were longtime residents of Irondequoit, and their family has continued their tradition of giving back to their community. Also soon to come is the dedication of the Pauline Evans Helen McGraw Giving Tree, designed and crafted by resident Craig Wilson and done so with the support of an anonymous donor in memory of Stephen Gans. We also owe, as other people have said, a debt of gratitude to past town supervisor Mary Joyce DeRizio for her commitment to this project and the strength and courage to finally bring a plan before voters. Twice. She has continued her commitment by becoming a part of the Irondequoit Library Foundation. Also owed a tremendous debt of gratitude, as again other people have said, is Councilman John Perdicone. John has worked side by side with the library board as our town board liaison for the past several years, attending countless meetings each week and continued to make our new library his full-time job throughout the process. We are all fortunate to have his knowledge and expertise, not to mention his time and staunch commitment to the library and our town. Leading us through this project has been Supervisor Bello. Adam assembled a group of designers and contractors who worked tirelessly on a very aggressive construction timeline, many of whom, as John said, are Irondequoit residents. Those who are not residents treated this project as if it were their hometown, giving 100% in detail and dedication. Supervisor Bello is to be commended for keeping the project on time and under budget, all while ensuring our library has the features that residents said they most wanted and needed. I am honored to have gotten to work with him and the entire team. I am also lucky and proud to be working with such a dedicated and driven group of people on the library board: Bud Burchard, Joe Janier, Jack Harama, Mary Ellen Jones, Fran Mannion, and Mark McBride. Not with us today is Dr. Carol Mamano, who lost her battle with cancer 2 years ago this month. And while Carol did not get to live to see the shared dream of a new library become a reality, Carol is and always will be a part of our library and the legacy of this project. We have honored Carol with a meeting room dedicated to her memory and her service to our town, and we are blessed today to have her brother Ron with us today. Also not with us today is my mom, who we lost a year ago this week. She was so looking forward to this day and to volunteering in her new library. She would often ask me, when she was not telling me to relax, if I knew how horrible the lighting was in our 2 branches, and will the lighting in our new library be better? I would assure her that the lighting was a priority and that I would eventually relax. Tomorrow is that day. But today we will all get to enjoy and appreciate all the natural light flowing into our library and the beautiful fixtures that will allow patrons to read and connect with neighbors with ample and energy-efficient lighting. I think my mom would be pleased. And I have to thank my sister Sabrina and my brother-in-law Tom for coming here to share in this day in my mom's place. I'm almost done, I promise. Our library staff has shown tremendous dedication to residents, working long hours leading up to the opening to ensure that our library was as close to perfect as possible. I'll have you know that many of our staff members were here throughout the weekend, so while many of our residents were enjoying the Labor Day and having barbecues, our staff was working here, getting books on the shelves, integrating the collections, weeding the collections so we got rid of stuff that we didn't need. They are truly to be commended. While growing pains will be a part of the ongoing process, our staff is eager and ready to welcome you all and to grow together with you. I feel compelled to give a shout out to a silent and delicious partner in this project, Ridge Donuts. I don't know if they realize how ever-present they were during nearly every meeting leading up to both votes, and then again during the move and pre-opening process. So thank you, Ridge Donuts. Finally, and most importantly, thank you to the residents of Irondequoit. The process was long and at times quite hard and challenging. It was a process that could have torn us apart, but instead it served to make us stronger. Thank you for your patience, your support for and belief in the library, and for coming together to help our library become what Irondequoit needs, wants, and deserves. While not everyone agreed that this was the right direction for our library, what we all share is a connection to it. That connection will continue to drive our library forward, and it is the library board's hope that today everyone will be proud of their new library. As I have said so many times before, some claimed we suffered from library envy. I know that today there most certainly is some serious library envy coming in our direction. So let the library envy commence. All
right, thanks, Stephanie. When she said a silent partner, I thought she was referring to Fred, and I was like, what is she talking about, silent? All right, we have one more presentation to make. We're going to get to some fun stuff now. We have Stephanie talked about the librarians and the work that they put in here and the staff here. We have a librarian from the teen room who's going to come forward and give a presentation and talk about some fun stuff we're doing today, and that's Matt Kruger.
Thank you. I also have with me one of our wonderful children's librarians, Miss Amy Holland, who is going to help me because she knows the name of every kid who comes in this library. So we had a special contest. We've talked a lot today about all the people who have helped make this library possible. I want to talk a little bit about the people who are going to benefit from that, who are the future of this library, who maybe someday will be standing up here talking. And they were the winners of our Every Hero Has a Story contest. And they had the opportunity to see the new library before it opened. They worked really hard this summer to tell us about a literary hero of theirs. And if you're here when we call your name, if you could stand up, maybe wave, and so everybody can see your smiling faces.
So we should also add that the people who drew or wrote about their favorite hero. Their entries are going to go in the new Irondequoit Public Library time capsule, which we will open in 30 years. So when I call your name, if you could make your way to the front. Anthony Brown, if you're here. Olivia Brown, Jenna Burns, Savannah Hickey, Lauren Lamberson, Nicole Lamberson, Liliana LaPera, Ellery McLenithan, Karina Monahan, Jake Price O'Brien, Megan Rusi, and Naomi Van Hukelum. So please join me in giving these students a round of applause. And I believe that we have certificates to present to the winners, which
yeah, we'll give them after because we want to move things along. We have 4 more very special young people that we want to thank for their dedication to making this possible. They have been working on their Silver Award for the Girl Scouts for the last several months. They've been in the library helping us get ready, and through their generosity have funded this time capsule. So if they're here as well, when Miss Amy calls your name, you can come up and we can give you a round of applause.
So these Girl Scouts spent many hours after school working on relabeling probably most of the children's books in our collection. So I personally want to thank you guys for all your hard work. So you guys can make your way to the front here. Natalie Denisenko, Lauren Gangarosa, Ellen Patterson, and Megan Patterson. Please make your way to the front. And like Matt said, they also helped to purchase this beautiful time capsule. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, kids. Thanks, everyone. And Matt and Amy have your certificates right over there. All right, we've made it. We're there. So this is what I'd like to ask everyone to do. For those who I've given, we've given scissors to head on out. There's a ribbon that's going to be in the atrium as well. There's a few other folks. Becky's going to be looking for you to hand out scissors as well. I'd like to ask everybody if they could just file out sort of orderly to go stand in front of the ribbon so we can open our brand new library. So thank you all for being here today, and I'll see you outside.
Second.